Okay then, so good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, April 28th, 2020. The time is 2:14 p.m. Calling this meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to ask Jelena to lead us. Okay then, so attending are Commissioners Duncan and Filios in person. Joining us by conference is Commissioner Bill Brooks, and we'll move on to the consent calendar.
I move that we approve the consent calendar as listed on our business meeting agenda for April 28th, 2020.
I second the motion.
Bill?
Bill Brooks?
Yes. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Moving on to the payables list, please.
Yes, I move that we approve the payables list for the week of April 20th through the 24th, 2020, in the amount of $926,230.05. There are no jury panel payments.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan?
Aye.
Chairman Filios?
Aye, and the motion is carried. Do we have any changes to the agenda? Hearing none. Moving on to the first of our action items. Public hearing pending issue of tax deeds. Treasurer, would that be Lori Thomas? Oh, Amy, come forward, please.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
How are you?
I'm well, how are you?
Okay.
I'm Amy Sweet, representing the treasurer this afternoon, and I am coming to you presenting the unpaid 2016 and prior taxes.
Yeah, we,
Just, it'll,
I don't think those mics are functioning.
are they not, is that not on?
Red light.
Yeah, it's possible.
it's just really low.
No.
So,
Is this better?
yes.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Amy Sweet, representing the treasurer's office, and I am presenting the unpaid 2016 and prior taxes. I am requesting board approval to record the tax deeds in compliance with Idaho codes 63-1005 and 63-1006. We started with 694 parcels last May. The list that you all were provided on Friday had 39 parcels. I have provided Terry an updated list of 25 parcels. Of those 25, 8 are pending payment clearance, and 2 of them do include a homeowner's exemption, so it is primary residence for 2.
Okay. And this is the total, the 41,000?
11,000. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions?
Yes, so they have all the way up until the date of the sale to redeem?
Correct.
Okay.
And is it a single date of sale, or are they varied?
The tax deed auction date and time is set by you all, so it is a single
Is that the
sale.
one in October? Okay, thank you. Fair enough. Bill, any questions?
No questions.
Okay. Motion?
Well, it's a public hearing, so do we need to call
Oh,
for
that's right.
public comment?
Okay. So we need to proceed to public comment? Since this is a public hearing, hearing none? Okay, so that ends our public comment. Moving on to deliberations.
So I move that we end public testimony and enter into deliberations.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan?
Aye.
Chairman Filios?
Aye. Entering into deliberations. Anything? Any comments?
I'm fine with the list.
Bill, you okay?
Yep.
Motion.
Just fine.
Okay. So then I move that we approve the treasurer for recording the issues of the tax deeds, the delinquent tax properties.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Item number 2, another public hearing, program of projects, fiscal year 21 to 25 fiscal years. Resource Management Office, who's on the phone? Is it Kim?
Kim Riley for the record, yes, sir.
Go right ahead.
This is the public hearing for our program of projects. For FY '21 through '25, specific budget year of 2021 is what we're looking at right now. We published notice of this hearing in the paper on March 27th. We received no written comments. So the total amount that we are budgeting in operations, $1,312,150 of FTA, and then a match of $974,785.
And once again, is the local match labor?
The match is in kind, so combination of services provided by our partners and then our administration labor as well.
Okay. Questions? Is there a motion to exit public hearing and enter? Do we have any more comments, by the way? None? Motion?
I move that we end public testimony and enter into deliberations.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye. So we've entered into deliberations. Any comments? Motion?
I move that we approve the program of projects for FY '21 through '25.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Item number 3, grant agreement extension, RV 20-1-28-1 for the fairgrounds, the RV Park Phase 3. Resource Management Office, would this be Kim again?
Yes, Kim Riley again for the record. The original project period for this grant was 7/1/19 through 6/30/20. We don't anticipate that we will be complete by that date, so we have asked for a 1-year extension, which has already been granted by Idaho State Parks and Rec.
Okay. So you need for us to affirm that, is that correct?
Correct. We just want to have it on the record that we are extending the project period date through June 30, 2021.
Understood. Motion?
I move that we approve the grant agreement extension for RV 20-128-1 to June 30th, FY '21 for Fairgrounds RV Park.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Item number 4, reimbursement request, grant closeout, BG 18-1-28-1, Resource Management Office for Parks and Waterways. Kim?
Yes, this is the second of the boating infrastructure grants for the Harrison Breakwater project. This is our first and final reimbursement request in the amount of $184,500, and the $61,500 match will come from the vessel restricted funds.
Okay. Questions? Motion?
I move that we approve the reimbursement request, which is also the grant closeout for BG 18-1-28-1 in the amount of $184,500.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion's carried. Item number 5, consent to assignment of lease, AAL-2015-700, Resort Aviation for the airport. Stephen?
Yeah, Commissioner Stephen Kierkegaard for the record. This is a request from Resort Aviation to change the name on their lease agreement to actually be the name listed with the state instead of an unknown name and how it got listed on the lease. We cannot tell you that.
Okay. Motion?
I move that we approve the consent to assign lease of AAL 2015-00, which is,
700.
I'm sorry, 700, which is Resort Aviation, to Resort Aviation Services, Inc.
Stephen, that's okay?
Second the motion.
Okay.
Yep, that works.
Okay. Bill seconded, okay.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios,
Aye, and the motion is carried. Item number 6, FAA grant application 3-16-0010-049, design and construction of partial perimeter fence extension for the airport. Stephen?
Yep, Stephen Kierkegaard again for the record. This is a second grant that the airport's attempting to go after this year, as we discussed yesterday. The grant amount that we're anticipating, if we do get it, is right around $800,000. It will be 100% match again if we do get it this year because of the CARES Act. And if you have any questions, happy to answer them.
And you expect all bidders will be local?
That is my anticipation, yes.
Okay.
All right, and Stephen, that was 0% match, right?
It'll be 100% funded by the FAA
Gotcha.
with 0% match.
Thank you.
Okay, motion.
I move that we approve the FAA grant application 3-16-0010-049 for the design and construction of partial perimeter fence extension.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios,
Aye, and the motion is carried. Item number 7, Idaho CARES Act grant application SF-424 for the airport. Stephen?
Stephen Kierkegaard again for the record. This is the CARES Act grant application. The airport, as a general aviation airport, we are receiving $69,000 from the FAA and federal government to use as anything that we deem appropriate and eligible under FAA guidance. And all we have to do is sign this grant and submit appropriate documentation to support it, and we will receive the funds.
So you need approval to apply?
Yes.
Okay. Motion?
I move that we approve the Idaho CARES Act grant application SF-424 for the airport.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios,
Aye, and the motion is carried. Item number 8, request for pay overlap for training accounts receivable. The auditor, Dena.
Thank you, Commissioners. Dena, Darrow for the record. This is a request to have an overlap in personnel. Our AR tech is retiring after 11 years, and so our new person that we bring on, we would like to have an overlap for training. There is enough salary savings to cover this request.
Okay. And so you're saying the total cost is just over $2,400?
Correct.
Okay. Year-end surplus, okay. Any questions? Bill, have you seen this?
Yes.
Okay. Are you okay?
Yes, everything's fine.
Motion?
I move that we
Thanks, Dena.
approve the request for pay overlap for training for the accounts receivable department under the auditor in the amount of $2,415.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios,
Aye, motion carried. Item number 9, request for funding for temporary janitor for the COVID-19, or I guess to be funded by COVID-19, is that what we're saying? Buildings and grounds, Greg Manley.
Greg Manley, Building and Grounds. Yeah, we're just looking for a temporary janitor to clean the restrooms and kind of clean the main surfaces once we open up the building. So we can have somebody here during the day before the janitorial crew comes in.
Okay,
And basically the cost for 4 weeks would be $2,800. And if we went out to 8 weeks, it's about $5,600 for the 8 weeks. I
okay.
figured that's all we'd need.
Budget, oh, you're gonna, basically, COVID's gonna pay for this?
Yeah, that's what we're
Okay.
hoping.
It'll come out of our temp pool first, and
And
then
then we'll get
FEMA
reimbursed?
reimbursement.
Okay.
Are you okay with, I would just say up to 8 weeks, and then if they
Does that do
don't
it?
need it.
Yeah, I would think we'd be good.
Okay, so we
after
can
that.
put a cap on it. Good enough. Okay. Motion.
All right, I move that we approve the request funding for a temporary janitor due to the COVID situation with Building and Grounds to come out of our temp pool, not to exceed 8 weeks at $5,623.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios,
Aye, motion carried. Item number 10, change order for the jail rooftop unit replacement project with McKinstry. Shawn Riley for the BOCC.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. Shawn Riley for the record. This is a change order. Basically, in the original quote, if you remember a few weeks back, we were going to replace 9 rooftop units out at the jail. And the decision was made that instead of doing rooftop units 16 and 17, which are in the indoor rec yard, it was decided that rooftop units 3 and 4 would be more desirable to have done since they are in east housing, and we can do the indoor rec ones later. So the basic change in price is $2,137, and that is because units 3 and 4 are larger and they require smoke detectors. Other inclusions, which would be the maintenance agreement that was signed to inspect them twice a year, remain the same. The money's there in the 5-year plan, so I'm fine with it. I think it's a good call.
Okay. Questions? Motion.
I move that we approve the change order for the jail rooftop unit replacement project with an increased amount of $2,137 coming from the 5-year plan.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios,
Aye, and the motion carries. Item number 11, approval of workers' compensation policy for the Idaho State Fair. Human Resources, who's joining us from HR?
Cecilia Sweet,
Go.
HR Generalist Compliance. And
then-
before you, go ahead.
And Darrin Murphy, I will assist Cecilia if the board has some questions. And
Okay.
I did want to put some stuff on the record, but go ahead, Cecilia.
Appreciate it.
Okay. So before you today is a request for adding a separate workers' comp endorsement to the county's policy in the name of North Idaho State Fair. So the background is when the North Idaho State Fair applied for the business license for the RV park, the Idaho Industrial Commission noted that there was no workers' comp insurance under that name, North Idaho State Fair. So they've always been covered under the county policy with a separate board and department code for the fairgrounds employees and volunteers. Ann Rodriguez from the Idaho State Insurance Fund, the underwriter, says to bring the county into compliance with the Idaho Industrial Commission, we would need a policy endorsement in the name of North Idaho State Fair, and there is no budgetary impact.
Understood, yeah. And we first took this up last week, as I recall.
Yes.
Okay.
So there, Commissioners, Darrin Murphy for the record, there's 2 processes for doing this. Either the application is filled out and the cost goes through the Fair Board's budget, or it comes directly from the county's budget. And if it goes through the Fair Board's budget, there's a bit of a process that's required. Fair Board's going to have to approve it, and I don't know, I'm not aware if they have the ability to pay for it. But the Fair Board's going to first have to approve it, and then the BOCC is going to have to approve and make any adjustments as necessary. The county pays for it, it's just the county pays for it. But that's the commissioner's call on which process the board would like to go through. Option 1, Fair Board, option 2, the county.
Okay.
Do you have any does one have any benefit over the other, Darrin?
To me, the county paying for it makes the most sense,
Okay.
simply because that's the way we've been doing it in the past.
Okay.
That's the way we do it for our ICRIMP insurance. I'm not sure where the state insurance fund is changing the process. It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but they're the ones that's dictating we do this, so
Okay.
yes, the county paying for it makes the most sense.
We have received a violation letter on the 21st. So basically, the Idaho Industrial Commission is the one that noted that there was no business, there's no workers' comp insurance in the business license for North Idaho State Fair. So it seems like this would be the simplest, since we're already covering the employees and volunteers at the fairgrounds, to just have that endorsement in that name.
This is something that if we paid for it this year, we could always bring it up in budget season and have it part of their budget.
Yes, correct.
Dena, please.
Dena Darrow, for the record. I just wanted to fill the board in. I did talk to payroll, and the fair does their own payroll, and the county pays their own payroll. So those employees are under the North Idaho State Fair. So it's odd that workers' comp would not be paid by the employer, North Idaho State Fair, as well as the state unemployment insurance is run through the county, where that also should be discreetly recorded properly under that employer, North Idaho State Fair. So it's something to think about, because I don't know where the commingling came from, and maybe Jerry can fill us in, but they do have their own separate books, their own separate system, their own separate payroll system, and they have their own separate audit every year, and they're on a completely different fiscal calendar. So to keep things clean from an employer perspective, to me, it would make sense to eventually move them to their own workers' comp, their own unemployment insurance.
Sure. And so I would just recommend doing it during budget season. Right now, we're dealing with a violation, so I'd like to get this cleared up before the violation, the amount of cure time that's allowed. So I'm willing to say, let's pay this now and then address it in the budget season, where we can separate the commingling. Is that $7,700?
And then any unemployment claims that would come through are self-funded through the county, would pay any unemployment claims for the fair.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Dena. Any further discussion? Motion.
Hey, Chris, it's Shawn.
Yeah, go ahead, Shawn.
Hey, just a quick question, having dealt with this when I had my own business. Are there any fines or I don't want to say back taxes, but back charges for not being in compliance that might pop up?
Not at this time, Shawn. She's assured me, the underwriter, that it's a wash. So, and they're not going to, there's no application fees, and we've received a violation letter from the Idaho Industrial Commission, but I don't think we would be fined anything retro.
Okay.
Okay, that was my only question. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, because Cecilia, they gave us a certain amount of time to cure this, correct?
Right.
Yes.
So,
Okay, then, are we ready?
so.
Motion?
I move that we approve the workers' compensation policy under the name North Idaho State Fair to be continued, to be paid through county funds, and then we can always address going forward in the budget season.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan?
Aye.
Chairman Philios?
Aye, and the motion is carried. Item number 12, proclamation Motorcycle Awareness Month.
Yep, happens every year, and we got a few bikers in the audience today. So I can dispense with the reading, or I can read it. It's up to you.
It's brief. Go ahead and read it.
Okay. Proclamation Motorcycle Awareness Month, May of 2020. Whereas motorcycle riding is a popular form of recreation and efficient transportation for many riders in Kootenai County, and whereas it is important that all vehicles be aware of one another and learn to share the road and practice courtesy, and whereas the safety hazards created by automobile operators who have not been educated to watch for motorcycles on the streets and highways of Kootenai County are of prime concern to motorcyclists, and whereas it is especially important that the citizens of Kootenai County be aware of motorcyclists on the street and highways and recognize the importance of motorcycle safety, and whereas a Brotherhood Against Totalitarian Enactments, or ABATE, is an organization that is actively promoting safe operation, increased rider training, and increased motorist awareness of motorcycles, and whereas it is important to recognize the need for awareness on the part of all drivers, especially with regard to sharing the road with motorcycles, and in honor of motorcyclists, many contributions to the communities in which they live and ride. Now therefore, the Board of County Commissioners, Kootenai County, by virtue of the authority vested in us by the Constitution of the State of Idaho, do hereby proclaim May 2020 to be Motorcycle Awareness Month, and urge all who support motorcycle awareness to participate in any events planned in support of efforts of both motorcycle riders and automobile drivers to keep all of our citizens safe.
Motion?
I move that we approve the proclamation proclaiming Motorcycle Awareness Month for May of 2020.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan?
Aye.
Chairman Philios?
Aye, and the motion is carried. Item number 13, ratified decision for tax deed bids AIN 256820 Schaffer and AIN 128085 Nagel.
So these are the ones the board agreed to deny the sale of these AINs to, because the property is not in proximity or a contiguous piece with the people who are offering for sale, so who have made a bid. So if you want, we can ratify decision. Okay.
Go right ahead.
So I move that we ratify the decision made last week for tax deed bids AIN 256820 Schaffer and AIN 12808985 Nagel, and deny the sale of the properties.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan?
Aye.
Chairman Philios?
Aye, and the motion is carried. Public comment? Hearing none. 2:42, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.